Actually, I planned this at the initial stage, but I thought that it will be too much mathematical. But when we are understanding the industrial robots, in industrial robot, yes, all programming is being done with the help of your this understanding of kinematics and dynamics aspects. So, how this word came? Kinematics, what it indicates? It is a science of motion that treats the subject without regarding the forces that cause it. So, what we are talking is kinematics and dynamics. The kinematics part is only taking care of motions, movements, because we are programming the robot, we are moving the elements, we are moving the end effector from one position to another position. So, this movement which we are tracking or deciding, it all comes under kinematic part. So whether you are taking toy robot, whether you are taking your application robot or service robot, in all these cases, the motion is happening, movement is happening, either legs movement, hand movement, or whatever devices you are attaching to that robot system, it is going to get moved. And for each one of these movements, you are going to have drives which will be mounted on it. So that drives the motion of that drives, the positioning, at what speed it is moving or at what pace it is running, all it has to be studied. And that study which correlates its movement, motion, you are treating it as a kinematic study of robot system. So within this science of kinematics, one studies the position, velocity, acceleration, and all higher order derivatives of the position variables with respect to time or any other variables. So what we are doing, it is dynamically getting changed, because what is the current position of that robot, after teaching it, it may be occupying another position. Sorry. So that movement, when you are teaching to that robot, it is very very difficult task to program and control that particular motion, because once it is moving, you have to have feedback sensing arrangement, that information which is to be given to the controller, so that controller will again counteract with that particular information and try to occupy desired position through that programmed motions. Hence the study of the kinematics of manipulators refers to all the geometrical and time based properties. So whatever time you are considering for that application, so within that time duration, what was the geometrical position of different linkages, different positions of joints, as well as end effector. Our intention is to move that end effector, that tool, from series of points it will be moving for performing the task. And during that motion, your complete system is getting uh, moved. Only the base is stand still at the bottom, which is fixed, which we are considering for industrial kind of robot system. For toy kind of robot system, entertainment robots, or for application robots or service robots, the platform itself is moving. So in that case, your reference axis is moving. You are not having a fixed position. It will be just sliding, moving, rolling, different motions you are going to have. But when you are talking about fixed robot, which is being fixed at one location and serving two or more machines, in those cases you will be referring to that reference point or base point, and with respect to that you will be going to have all this programming which is happening. So whatever time you are considering, with that time frame, how the geometrical aspects of that robot structure is moving, that is nothing but considered under this kinematics. So, in order to control and program the robot, we must have knowledge of both its spatial arrangement, that means the reference to the environment. So, with reference to the base, what is the environment, that surrounding, how it is going to have, what is the configuration of our robot, which kind of robot we are using. So, that configuration we are we must know when we are programming that robot for that specific application. So this kinematics is the analytical study of geometry of motions of the robot arm with respect to a fixed reference coordinate system and without regard of forces or moments that causes the motion. So at kinematic level, we are not going to bother about the forces which are getting exerted on the robot link or structure. It will be just plain motion, movement. No forces are going to get studied in the kinematic study. When we have to go for force analysis, gripping force, velocity and acceleration forces which are getting exerted and what may be the effect on that structure, so that will be considered under dynamics of robot system. So considering all that aspects of kinematics and dynamics, the robot structure itself will be built in a robust way for the industrial applications, for these competitions or for these toy robots which children they are making. All will not be initially considering the dynamic aspects, only the positional movements, whether it is achieving that position or not, that is being considered. So we are knowing that there are two motions, one are in the plane, two-dimensional movements which are happening. So if we consider only two-dimensional plane, it will be xy plane, a floor which we are going to consider base. But in space, in world coordinate system, when we will be discussing, it will be x, y, and z. So all that volumetric consideration, you will be doing it. How the robot is being oriented, what is the structure of robot, what is the surrounding space. So that complete cell, that cubical cell or whatever the spherical cell or complete environment surrounded by that robot, we will be going to consider in all x, y, z direction and how it is going to move from those particular positions, that will be considered. So this three-dimensional space, which we are going to consider for all these robot applications, it is being considered as a 6 degrees of freedom, XYZ motion, and related to XYZ motions, three orientations, rotations along all these three XYZ motions. So that general robot which we are considering for industrial applications which is suited will be 6 degree of freedom robot system, and each one of these axes it will be treated as a degrees of freedoms for those. And how these degrees of freedom affect our robot application or costing, that is being mentioned. As we are increasing number of degrees of freedom, our positional accuracy will get decreased. So what happens, as many number of joints you are adding to the robot, controlling each one of these drives, controlling each one of these joints, it will be very difficult because you have to control that, send feedback to the controller system, again it has to be achieved for the position, and that's why accuracy will be getting reduced, while com- computational complexity is getting increased, because all these points which you are storing, which robot control has to take care, all these locations in xyz position, it has to be sent to the controller, and accordingly you are going to have uh, control those motions. Cost is getting increased, flexibility definitely getting increased, but uh, cost is a major factor which is getting increased. And also power transmission is more difficult because as you are increasing the number of joints, you are that uh, increase in your, or you will be finding difficulty in power transmission for each one of the joint controlling those things. So what in the morning you are listening to kinematic things, the linkages, because robot structure is made up of different linkages. these are rigid bodies. And what sir was saying, Dalla sir, related to that symbol and that bond gap technique. So at each joint, you will be going to have energy which is getting stored, and that bond graph analysis, whatever simulation he was saying, it is very advanced thing related to the linkage analysis. When you are going for finding out at each joint what is the energy level which is being stored, and accordingly it is being analyzed in the dynamic cases. And he was relating it with artificial intelligence, because AI is a part of your robotics where you are making the decisions. Artificial in the sense you are training the robot, you are putting different algorithms in the robot so as to take decision on its own. What will be the next position, what will be the location where it has to reach, and if anything happens wrong, some obstacle comes into that environment, that particular trajectory, then what action that robot has to do. So that all comes under your AI part, artificial intelligence, which you will be going to have as a database which is to be initiated those, and it will follow the uh, safe program while running that particular robot system. So in open kinematic chain, you are going to have number of degrees of freedom equal to number of joints. So how many number of joints are there? Those many number of degrees of freedom you will be going to get it. There are different pairs, so I will not be going into detail, but just to have the glimpses of these joints as an element, different joints which we have seen. Generally, two categories of joints we have observed: linear and rotary. So in that linear, it is a linear motion, planar motion which is happening. Not planar, in the plane complete XY platform is getting operated, and you are going to have floor mating. But in our movements, linear movement along XYZ motions, we are going to consider it is prismatic kind of thing. And in rotary motion you may have revolute, cylindrical, screw type in some of the special applications, and spherical motions. So again, spherical movements are very difficult to control, so we have to go ahead with again the uh, only linear and rotary motions. So these are some of the robot joints showing the 1 degree of freedom only rotary. Then you are going to have 1 degree of freedom prismatic, and this special or spherical joint which will be having in all XYZ, a spherical ball. When you are rotating it, it will be having all three-dimensional motion XYZ, and that too in terms of angle, that orientations which we are considering theta 1, theta 2, theta 3. So that you are going to have. This we have seen in the specifications. Major axis as first XYZ, minor axis as a gripper, that wrist which we are attaching. So that your roll pitch, that will be 3 degrees of freedom, so 6 degrees of freedom. And you are going to attach these redundant degrees of freedom for the tools as well as some special applications to the end effector. This is one of the schematic of Puma 560, having one base rotation, second shoulder rotation, third this joint rotation, and fourth one as this wrist rotation. So here you are going to have 6 degrees of freedom, where you are going to have for each joints uh, 1 degree of freedom. So generally jointed arm robots, you will be going to have 6 joint or 6 degrees of freedom for your robot system. Different robots will be having different links. Whatever the this link which has been shown, each link will be having fixed dimensions, distances from joint to joint, that point to point, it will be fixed, it will not be moving. And that's why whatever trajectory you will be making it, that will be all dependent on your only orientation, because length will not be varying. Physical structure of your robot, that too industrial robot or any robot, physical structure will not change. What will change in the programming is nothing but only the orientation which will be changing, and through only that movements or orientations your different trajectories are getting obtained, and that trajectories you have to plan it while programming the robot, while deciding through what route it has to move, through what path it has to move. And that is very very essential task for control. So kinematic aspects, your linear dimensions are fixed for the linkages, link lengths are fixed, and those are nothing but mutually perpendicular to both the axes when you are considering, and it is also always exist and with unique except to both the axes are in parallel. These are some of the link configurations which you are considering, and how to represent these links, that is very very essential. So when you are programming the robot, what sir was showing you in the morning session was related to transformation, that is translation and rotation combinedly which is being happening while moving the joints or moving the end effector from one location to another location. So there are joint parameters as a link lengths and link orientations. These are the parameters, main four parameters which you are considering with reference to initial axis and next axis. So always there are two joints. For one link, there are two joints, and you will be referring to those joints. What is the current joint and what is previous joint? And with reference to that, you will be going to have all that orientation parameters, and you can have these parameters being controlled. So there is much mathematics behind that. You will be generally linking the references from base. You will be starting as a link 0, and you will be having link 1, link 2, link 3, like that, with joint 1, joint 2, joint 3. So you will be going to have linkages being connected in series in this robot arm, industrial robots mainly, and you will be sequencing it from base as a 0 to the end effector whatever you are going to have. So likewise you will be going to have number of links being connected in series configuration, and with reference to that it will be chain case. I'm skipping some of the things because this will be highly again mathematical, but to you must understand that all this thing is happening uh, due to this particular analytical things analysis which is being carried out, because in simulations or in all these design aspects initially you have to do the analytical study, analytical analysis, and accordingly these all codes programs has been written so as to perform that particular task. And whatever AI, artificial intelligence which you are doing the computer coding, all it depends on the motions movements of individual drives which is happening. Also it will take care of the environment surrounding. So those obstacles, those uh, difficulties also you are going to put into those programs, and self decision making robots you are making it when you are considering AI aspects in the robots. The linkages are being represented. This is the transformation of those linkages, series of those linkages from 0 to nth, from origin to the final, the transformation T 0 to n, it is nothing but a series of matrices you are going to get is T1, T2, T3, T4, Ti, Tn. So number of frames you are going to have, and this has to be multiplied so as to get the position and orientation from origin to the end effector. N is nothing but your last link, and 0 is your initial, that base. So from that base to the end effector, what is the trajectory, what is the geometry of your robot, all that frames will be going to get analyzed by these transformations at each and every individual level of those joints, and these transformations are being considered as a representation which is being mentioned as Dynamite Huttenberg transformation as a representation. So you must know only the at this level the names of those scientists who have developed or represented this particular robot configurations and that methodology of kinematic analysis for linkages. So this is DH principle, you can say DH applications in the analysis of robot kinematics. So there are two aspects of this kinematics. One is forward kinematics and another is inverse kinematics. Forward kinematics is that when your base is known, the reference point x, y, z origin is known, and you are knowing the link lengths. L1 is known, L2 is known, L3 is known, and also you are knowing at what angle those links are being oriented. So first link is 90 degree, second link is with certain theta 1 angle, with uh, second link, the third link is with theta 2 angle. So definitely, as few of participants are from math background, as a geometric applications, if we want to find out the end effector position, you can easily find out by just, if I have to find out the point at joint J1, it will be just the height which is going to matter, because xy will be same, whatever xy at the base same will be here, only z component will be getting added in the three-dimensional space. For this positioning, all x, y, z will change because x, y will be in the planar motion. So from this point, it is going to get shifted to this point, and also in z direction, it is getting lifted. So z will also change, x also will change, y also in that another plane, because x is this, y will be perpendicular to x, but in the same plane, and z will be in upward direction. So likewise, you are going to have series of these transformations which are happening, and you can find out the location of this end effector or what is the position of your gripper by this present status of your robot configuration. So this is being called as forward kinematics. So forward kinematics is very simple, straightforward. Anybody can use this particular trigonometric relationship, geometry of those particular linkages, and you can find out the end effector position with respect to origin. So this is simple forward kinematics, but you are using robot programming not for forward kinematics but for inverse kinematics. Why it is so? Because forward kinematics will be having single solution. It will be fixed because this is the link length, this is the orientation, what will be the end effector position. And you will not be waiting at that same position. You have to perform the task. It has to move from this location to another location for either picking up the part or doing some application. It has to move all the joints. So your thetas will be getting changed, all the joint orientations will be getting changed, and with reference to that, what are the positions you are going to get. So this trajectory you will be defining, and with reference to that trajectory, with reference to that path, these linkages you have to uh, do the programming. You have to take care of those particular programming and perform the task by inverse kinematics. So what you are doing, your locations are fixed for programming. I am having one location which is being defined, from where I have to pick the job, I have to put it to another location, so that is another location, and in between that you have to have series of points which has to be transferred. That end effector has to move from one location to another. By that process, your complete structure is getting moved, and with that you have to have very controlled motion which has to be obtained, and control has to take care of all that informations, how it is moving, and that will be done with the help of this inverse kinematics. So this inverse kinematics, very simplified way, block diagram it has been shown. Joint, when we are knowing joint angles and when we are knowing link parameters, link lengths, for specified robots will be fixed. L1, L2, L3, Ln will be fixed. And if you are knowing joint angles, that theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, which we were discussing, so if both are known, we are calling it as forward kinematics to get position and orientation of end effector. But what we are doing in robot programming teaching, we are defining these positions and orientations. We are knowing the location where that robot should reach. And with reference to that, our link lengths cannot be changed. This is physical structure. So what we can change is only the orientation. So you will be obtaining these joint angles, variety of joint angles, you will be getting it. You are calculating it mathematically at the back end by the controller, and by using this position which we have to target, which we have to reach, and which we have to, the physical parameters are fixed. So using these two informations, we have to control the action of robot with the help of the joint motions, joint angles. So this is nothing but inverse kinematics, so very very mathematical part. So I thought we should just brief you related to this. We will not go into detail, but this is essential when you are going for these linkages and their analysis part in the mechanical structure. And related to AI, related to these transformations, all it will depend on these linkages analysis. And each one of these point, whatever sir was discussing in earlier session, related to this homogeneous transformation matrix, it is composed of two parts. That is nothing but your this translation which is happening, whatever motion movement which is happening, that is along x direction, along y direction, along z direction, you are going to have these movements in increments which are happening. If you are only moving in x direction, this x will change. If you are moving in y direction, y will change. In z will change. Combinedly you can move in x y z, so that was controlled motion. So that all also can vary. It depends on the configuration. So this matrix delta x, delta y, delta z, this fourth row column, that 3 by 3 column, fourth, it will be considered as translation matrix. It is only linear motion which is happening along xyz motion, xyz positions. Whereas axis, this 3 by 3 matrix, all this is nothing but rotations which are happening along xyz. And so this 4 by 4 as a homogeneous, because you are considering this 3 by 3 and 3 translation, to make it homogeneous, you are going to have this perspective. If you are seeing it from third location, uh, this perspective will be having some scale. But generally we are not using perspective view, and this will be kept as a 000, and this is global scale, one unit scale which we are considering. So that's why it becomes. Otherwise, what would have been happened? The rows are only three and columns are four. So make it balance. You are going to have this 4 by 4 matrix as a homogeneous transformation matrix to represent every individual position of this particular part. So these movements, motions which are happening is being transferred, and you are going to have series of matrice applications which are being done. So mathematics people, they will be knowing how to multiply the matrices, how to do the different operations or applications. So using these matrix applications, you will be finding the transformation and rotations which are happening along x y z. And with reference to this, you are going to find out all that analysis. It is very series of those matrix calculations which you will be going to have in the back end, and at the end you are going to get the final position of that transformation. So with the help of series of those chain of actions, your matrix is going to get operated. So sir was showing in the morning simulation related to this coordinate joint 1, 2, 3, and individual you are moving, and how different positions are getting achieved. So that can be done with the help of simulation. So many people, they are working in the area of these analytical things for simulating what will be the configuration, what will be the joint position and all. with reference to those different configurations. So if we are changing the joint, changing the drives for each of these linkages and all, how it will be varying, that is being analyzed with the help of simulation. So I'm just keeping it all these mathematics, and uh, you'll be finding this DH application, DH principle for inverse kinematics, forward and inverse kinematics, which is being used for analyzing the robot transformations, the motions which are happening in the robot system. Again, in that AI part, whatever these transformations I was talking, and what we are discussing, suppose I have to perform some operation, that application. Suppose on the table there is a screw. My robot structure is like this, and I have to pick up this. Generally, similar applications we are finding, the robot has to pick up this screw, take this screw and put it, fix it to another location in some hole. So for that, you may have another system. There may be some vision sensor, a vision camera, which will be mounted on the top. It will be capturing the robot end as well as the screw, and that reference position of the camera will be fixed with reference to robot base. So you are knowing the position of end effector, you are knowing position of your screw with reference to base, and you are also knowing the position of that camera. So all three are linked with the some reference, and you have to send the signal to this robot arm to actuate to go to this screw, pick up this screw and again fix it to another location. So in those cases, these informations which you are sending it to the controller, that is very essential, and those things has to be integrated so as to ask this robot arm to move towards the screw. Again, screw direction is different, that orientation is different. Robot has to come below this in this direction, then it has to pick it up and then it has to take, so it has to completely change its position. And that series of transformations, translation, rotation which is happening will be analyzed through your these configurations. Likewise, same, the box has to be handled with the help of this particular robot structure, or you are going to have some reference global frame, goal frame, then camera and base frame. So you are going to have analysis of this with the help of this mathematics or trajectory which you are going to consider as a transformation, and then you are going to analyze it. So Unimate Puma robot, you are going to represent it. You can analyze this with the link configurations, kinematics, and find out. So in the inverse kinematics, what we are going to get advantage, that you may reach to that same target position by achieving different positions. Now you see,
एकदम खत्म है।
आपकी गलती नहीं है सर, नीड अ ब्रेक।
बहुत हालत खराब हो रही है।
यू नीड अ ब्रेक। हाँ, अब आ गया एसजीपीएस में।
so the positions which are being achieved, you will be going to get multiple solutions in the inverse kinematics. So those solutions you can have with different arrangements which can be controlled to reach to that target position. Either my robot links will be in this fashion or the in this fashion. So I can have flexibility, whatever may be the space available, accordingly I can control these and reach to that target position. And that advantage we are picking it up for inverse kinematics. So you can get number of solutions for reaching to that same target position. So if my position is this, if I am increasing the number of elements 1, 2 and 3, so maybe first link I am orienting in this way, second in this way, third in this way, or maybe I can shift this to vertical, another one is somewhat inclined and third one is to the downward. So likewise, if you are increasing number of linkages, number of flexibility you can get, so as to reach to that same target point. And if you are defining this target point, definitely multiple options controller will have to achieve this targeted position, and that is the main intention. In some of the cases, yes, limitations are there because of robot geometry. Suppose I have to reach to that target position, this point, so this will not be achievable because my first link is long and second link is short. So this second link, if I fold it, it will reach maximum up to this. You cannot reach up to this. So some of the points in the space of that work envelope will be not reachable. The solution for reaching to that location will not be existing. So you have to take care of those positions, points which are reachable points, which are controllable points, and those only will be getting achieved. And that analysis can be carried out with the help of different solutions and analysis. So I think this brief intro related to uh, kinematics, which I have just targeted so as to have understanding related to different joints. So let me switch over to our main topic, because it is aligned with this robot applications. We are discussing about all the applications throughout the sessions, because as a orientation and applications of these robots in all the fields, what you are going to consider, nothing but through the different program motions. So you are programming the robot for performing the task. You define the task, it will be done with the help of your robot system. So consistent quality and high standard can be achieved with the help of robot. So whatever that initial different uh, states which we have considered, that what will be the productivity, what will be the quality, accuracy and all, if person or labor is working and if robot is working, definitely it will be enhancing your capabilities of productivity with the help of robot system. And also robot can easily be reprogrammed many times to reach to the highest position quality, possible quality with the human, which, which a human cannot often achieve. So that's why we will be using it, and with the help of that earlier principles of 4Ds, 4H and 4As, which we are considering. So with reference to that, you are going ahead with the robotic system. As human anatomy and robots, if you see that industrial arm, industrial robot, mainly manipulators, you will be finding similarity, and that's why you are nowadays calling it as humanoid kind of thing, human like behaviors, human like structure. Or robot itself is that slave or the person who obeys the instructions. So like a human being only, the uh, people to carry out the work, you are going to have this particular thing. So like our arms and fingers driven by motor, a similar kind of structure is there. Vision system we are incorporating by putting the cameras on the robot system, like our eyes. Hearing is equal to microphone, so you will be incorporating different uh, sensory devices, microphones, so as to get sound. Some of the robots which are being entertainment robots, they will be having these microphones to receive the signal. That means whatever you are talking, they will be hearing with the help of this, capturing the noise, capturing the voice and speech recognition, noise recognition. All these algorithms are being built with the help of the programming and the softwares and that instrumentation part. So those things will be used for your applications. Feeling, that pets and all this thing, whatever that uh, Sony has developed Aibo, that dog, a pet dog, which will be having all those feelings and the gesture recognition. Likewise, you are going to have a number of sensors, tactile, non-tactile sensor, which will be incorporated for your complex structures. Also, communication is equal to the wires, fibers, opticals, radio. So you can send the information, give the information, like our information which we are transferring on the similar line, we are communicating in the robot system with the help of these communicating cables, and those are of specific nature that are related to cables or different configurations according to your IO ports, and the system requirements, what will be the sensor, what will be drive. Accordingly, you will be deciding those connectivities as the interfaces. Brain is equal to the computer, that CPU or central processing unit or controller of robot is like our brain. And smell, taste, these tests also can be used in nowadays whatever work which is happening related to the smell or maybe taste, uh, for recognizing the fruits or maybe that smell. So what action is to be done? A smoke detection or maybe smell detection. Likewise, you may have the identifying these sensory signals and sending it to the controller in the applications. Major industrial applications which you are finding in the robotics is nothing but welding. Almost all industries, automotive industries, you will be finding welding is being done with the help of robot system, because it is dangerous task for a human due to the toxic gases which are getting emitted. In many of cases, these gases, CO2 welding or other weldings, fumes are coming. Those are dangerous to the human being. And also working in that environment is difficult. That preciseness, accuracy will not happen, and every time a person changes in the shifts, so different persons working on the same applications, that will also hamper the quality of the product. So in those cases, generally, and also the locations at which you are going to perform the welding, which is not the reachable point for the human being, at different locations, you might have observed that videos which we have seen related to welding applications. At different positions, the robot arm is going and the tip is welding. So those things are being considered. So the welding job is quite difficult for a person who is required to weld two pipes from different sides. Generally, plane welding which can be done by a person will be in one plane, but it has to move for say circular motion, and it has to move and change its direction or hand or so it will not give that much performance, and welding will not be also uh, suitable. So difficult positions and angles to sit in the different locations, that is to be considered. The difficulty of human is to see all the sides of welded devices when he needs to weld around a pipe, and that's why as one of the application of welding you are going to have this kind of thing. It is one of the photograph of welding application in this assembly car manufacturing. Number of robots are being mounted in series, and each one is performing different tasks at different locations. So that is being done. Another application is robotic painting. So in painting, you are going to have the spray. So that is also again toxic. Different chemical products are being used as a component, chemical components of those particular paints, which are again harmful. So in many of the industries nowadays, you will be finding robotics arm are being used for robot uh, for painting of the products, like these cars or automobile uh, vehicles, product, maybe bikes, and many advantages you are getting because uniformity of that intensity of color which is getting sprayed, and also saving of that color which can be done, and also the different combinations you are going to get. One part you will be doing it with one color, another part with another color. That programming also can be done easily. The tips or those nozzles can be changed by auto tool changing, and you can have another tip, another chemical, another spray of different color for different positions to be. So with single robot you can have multiple colors, or you can define it with individual robot one color, like that as per the requirements, and you can do it. It is one of the photograph from Yasakawa Motoman factory related to painting of cars. So it is equal and uniform and high quality and preciseness. It can reach very difficult places due to their high degree of flexibility, which can be difficult for humans but can achieve easily by a robot. A human needs to carry heavy painting gun, and wear a mask for protection against the toxic chemicals. So these are the things why we are going for robot painting. A robot's repetition rate is high as it doesn't not suffer from the fatigue. Safety levels which can be achieved by using robot are high by saving humans from the smell chemical toxics. So you are saving the people, you are uh, not playing with the health of the worker by deputing these robots for spray painting. For assembly applications, yes, humans can do it well, but again it is a tedious task, a repetitive task. Many times person get bored for doing same task throughout a day. So you can depute robot for the assembly applications. When we assemble a chip, we need a very high preciseness, yes, but in assembly applications, when you are putting some that uh, what you say controller board on that on the motherboard, that different ICs and chips are being mounted, those kind of applications, again putting it at particular slot at that defined location, it is very difficult for human being at micro level or at say nano level in some of the miniaturized ICs and those PCB boards. In those cases, you can have these compact robots which can be used for dedicated applications in such cases. Assembly robot is used in car factories for assembly of door panels, hoods of cars and bodies, and assembly of huge parts, because lifting that door, putting it on that location to that specific, again it will be difficult for human being to lift it and take it from aesthetic point of view, from ergonomic point of view. So in those cases you are going for robot to do the assembly task. This is one of the photograph from direct industry related to assembling of door panel on the chassis on the car. Medical applications. So yes, majority of applications I will again cover, but industrial applications. Apart from that, you can go ahead with the medical applications. Patient gets fast recovery. These are some of the advantages. The operation is more precise with no or very less mistakes. A robot can open small insertions in the body and carry out the major operations with minimal damage to the patient. So peri-chiric surgeries are happening, very minute insertion inside, and then you can have the completely remotely operated uh, that operations, surgeries from outside, seeing internal structure of that human being through the miniaturized cameras and all those tools which will be sent inside. You can have this particular kind of operations. One of the, you can have checking of human being, maybe disorders or maybe different internal structures, instead of that complete scanning in the CT scan or so. You can attach those devices and localize that structure can be analyzed. You can monitor it on the computer, and you can see the uh, required things or whatever things you want to uh, do the analysis or the checking that can be done. Dangerous applications, some of the these mobile robots or legged robots or wheeled robots which are being used as a service robots applications for maybe underwater applications or remote areas or the bomb detection. So these are dangerous applications where you have to have human will not be sent to the location as a bomb disposal or maybe that chemical plant uh, where you want to have some different kind of chemicals explosives are maybe there, or underwater applications also a human will not go. So in those cases you are going to use robot. The advantage of leg robot is that it can avoid step over the obstacles. Wheel robot there may be chances of these obstacles, so some of the cases leg robots are being used. And also danger like bomb and those things, it can be avoided or this can be detected and can be collected. So you will be going to have these leg robots for specific taking the load. In Indian army also they are thinking of taking the load instead of soldiers carrying the loads. You may have such kind of legged robots to carry the loads or those particular some of the devices, so as to have so rigid and robust structure with dynamics and all. uh, we can use it for carrying out the loaded guns or other kind of items on the platform. This is one of the mobile robot for your bomb disposal and all. So you can have this robot which will be going to the particular location, detecting it with the help of cameras and all, and then you can have programming with the help of grippers or the tools. You can detach those things. Rescue and surveillance applications are also being used. You can define these robots as a surveillance robots, aircrafts and boats without pilot, which are guided from the station. So you can guide it remotely with signals being sent from the station, and which can be used for rescue mission. So it can be landed to another location and you can rescue the people. So likewise, there are many advancements which are happening in the field of robotics. Some of the cases you will be going to have fragile parts, tiny parts which has to be moved, or we have seen yesterday some of the glass plates which has been removed, replaced or stacked. So that handling of different fragile materials, tiny parts or glass materials or small chips or wires, it can be done with the help of robotic system. Online inspection, maintenance of the dangerous areas like handling the explosives, exploring the deep sea, space and other planets. This also can be done with the help of robotic system. Space missions can also be achieved for collecting the samples from those planets, analyzing it remotely, and also you can track it, control it from the space. One of the vacuum cleaner robot, all that programming you can do it and it can be used in the home as well as for cleaning the industries. So these are new products. You can call these as a specific application type robot, as you will be doing specific application of cleaning application is same, but the nature of that floor, nature of the area or type of uh, that work which has to be carried out, that can be programmed, and that's why these service robots, this comes under service robot for that specific applications. These are entertainment robots with this Aibo, Sony made Aibo, having the feeling. It can also bark, it can also uh, uh, move the head, or maybe some different noises, sing a song. Likewise, the tail, it can be moved or shake. So likewise, the feelings can be get with the help of AI. So programming will be done in a such a way that these eyes also can be blink. It can get red or green according to the gesture or according to the anger, which is that if you are hammering to this particular pet, it may get red. So likewise, you can see the emotions uh, with this particular entertainment robots. So likewise, there are many applications, material handling applications, which involves the movement of materials, all that palletization, depalletization, processing of the jobs, assembly applications, inspection applications, which we have seen. So these are the variety of jobs which can be done. In CNC machines, mainly material transfer, which is happening, pick and place and palletization. So in early days, when it was being invented, these robots in assembly lines and material handling lines for loading and unloading applications. In 70s, these robots were being used mainly for this pick and place and palletization applications. Afterwards, when the devices came and sensory devices, other developments happened, then it went on for welding, spray coating, cutting and grinding applications. Now you are doing that laser cutting or water jet cutting by attaching those tools to the robot system. Assembly applications, material handling is major application for all these: part placement, orientation, palletization, depalletization. In the sense, you are stacking it one above another or taking out from that number of that jobs, putting in the curtain or that certain uh, pallet or removing it from the pallet. So as a loading unloading application, then you are going to have different considerations while designing the robots as a applicant. Design, gripper design, part positioning, orientation, minimum travel distance, work volume, weight, capacity of that robot, accuracy, repeatability, configuration, and machine utilization. Likewise, you have to take into consideration these aspects, and accordingly you have to select the robot or design the robot. Part placement also plays important roles. At what location you are working, whether it is on the plane surface or maybe inclined surface. So that nature of location, that also very very important when you are using the robot. Palletization, depalletization, loading, unloading. This is detailing just for sake of, because some of the points are from perspective of teaching to the UG, PG classes. So I have uh, taken it from those reference books as well as reference materials in arc welding, stacking, inspection. So I'm just going hurriedly through these slides. Yes, in process applications, all these process applications comes under welding or chemical industries. So spot welding, continuous arc welding, spray painting, metal cutting, deburring, water jet cutting, laser cutting, drilling, grinding, each one of these or additional tools, whatever tools you are attaching to the robot system, and you are performing the task for doing that application, all these comes under process applications, process operations. Assembly, any specific combining two mating surfaces, mating parts, that comes under assembly applications. So assembly will be either it is for batch production or low volume production or maybe cellular or modular cell production. You can use this, and in many of the cases this assembly applications is mainly on electronic components, because very miniaturized that PCBs which are being assembled, you can do it. And in automotive industries, feeding those particular nuts, bolts, screw tightening, so that can be done with the help of robot systems. Inspection, different tools of online inspection, gauging, go no go gauges in metal, that checking the dimensions, cylinder, that diameters, So all those things, or maybe you are putting vision sensors, video cameras over the robot, so simultaneously it is performing tasks as well as measuring, taking the images, and again that image will be analyzed whether it is a same part or a different part, whether it is to be sorted out, whether all those features are there or not, some operations whether it has been missed to perform on that job. Likewise, you will be going to have different programs being put into the controller, and controller will act upon that, and it will be doing those sortings in those cases. So a lot of things are to be there to discuss related to inspection applications. uh, these are the advantages which we can say robotics and automation can mainly situate increasing productivity, safety, efficiency, quality, and consistency of product. Products are robots can work in hazardous environment. Robots need no environmental comfort. Robot work continuously without any humanity needs and illnesses. Yes, because if we are regularly maintaining those things, a robot can work 24 by 7, all three shifts, and continuous production you can get it. Robots have repeated preciseness and accuracy at all time. Robot can be much more accurate than humans. They are have milli or micro inch accuracy. Milli unit you may have millimeter, centimeter, inches, whatever may be the manufacturer uh, defining. Robots and their sensors can be capable beyond the humans. Yes, some of the sensors which are getting developed, so they can recognize, they can have uh, more capabilities than the regular worker who will be working on that line. Process multiple stimuli at a time and tasks simultaneously, which humans may not be performing. So robot replace human workers who can create economic problems is one of the thing as a part. The person who is performing the task, if he is creating problem, economic problem, going on strike and all, so you can have easily replace the robots, but it will not be in case of teaching field. Robot cannot be used for as a teachers. So uh, yes, for some case it is okay, for only case of recorded things and all, or maybe thing. But the workers in industries, if they are performing uh, not well, or they are going on strike or making some problems to the factory owner, then definitely the organization may replace those people and put the robots. Different applications, just I have summarized all these things. uh, Working environment hazardous for human being, repetitive tasks, boring and unpleasant tasks, multi-shift operations, infrequent changeovers, performing at a steady pace, operating for long hours without rest, responding in automated operations, minimizing the variations, so and so forth. Some of the disadvantages also there in robotics: lack of decision making power. Yes, so uh, for regular robots nowadays, robots have been built up with AI and all those features, so as to take care of all those decision making. But still, the human decision, the operator decision, skilled worker decision will be superior than that of the programmed decision which will be done, because ultimately a man who is creating this robot, so decision making of human being will be at supermost level than that of your robot decision making. Through different possibilities you are combining it, you are putting it at that thing, but the instance what occurrence is happening, on that basis taking decision is very, very important, where robot may lag. And if loss of power, if the source of power is getting failed, your robot will be no more there, because it will not work. So any damage to the power system or that actuator system will stop immediately that robot from performing the task. Damage to the robot and other devices, human injuries may happen with these particular things. Robot may have limited capabilities in degrees of freedoms. Human being, you can go to any location, in the sense within your vicinity, within your thing, by multiple number of degrees of freedom which we are having as a human being. Labor, a worker working on the platform, that the station where it has been given the task, he can have number of degrees of freedom, but robot will have limited degrees of freedom as per that programmed motions and the locations and workspace. So these are some of the limitations. Dexterity, some of the points are not reachable, which we have seen in one of the figure, that yes, due to that elemental structure, the dimensions of that mechanical structure, some points will be getting missed. You cannot work in those particular zones. Some of the sensors, uh, you have to mount sensors on the robotics so as to get those detailing, whether as human being or worker, they can easily use their natural sense and do the task. And real time response also you are not getting, because signals will be getting sent, processed to the controller, and then accordingly you will be going to have the feedback which is getting resulted into your actual motion or movement which is happening by the robot. Robots are costly due to the initial setup cost of equipment, installation cost, need for the peripheral attachments, need for the training, need for the programming person. So that's why it is again costlier affair. So industries, medium scale, small scale industries, they are not going for the robotic unless and until it is very very essential and economical one. So likewise you are going to have different applications. I have touched upon different advantage disadvantage. Again, there are many things which has to be discussed. Service robot which you are observing, all those robots which provide the service to humanity, so that can be considered. It may be mobile or stationary robots which you are going to have. So these capabilities, uh, you are going to use it in the wide range of industries you are going to have. So different service industries and service robots in different industries which can be used: agricultural robots, construction robots, customer service robots, defense robots, this demolishing robots, exoskeleton robots, field robots, humanoid robots, industrial cleaning robots, inspection robots, logistic robots, and medical applications. These are few of the service robots which are uh, being available and used in the service industries, service sector. There are many more things. You name the application, yes, robot can be deployed and it can be used for those particular kind of application. So I'm having these slides for each one of these. You can have cutting of vegetables, again checking it the quality and all. So with the help of vision system which are means uh, ripening and all those checking can be done. Spraying of the weed control, harvesting the crop, seeding, uh, burning and thinning. So likewise, many agriculture, there is separate session tomorrow, robots in agriculture applications. So you will be coming to know more about that in that session. Construction robots, all the construction fields, you can deploy these particular robots. 3D printing applications, additive manufacturing applications. Nowadays, cement factories, they are making the pillars and all those columns ready made which is being available, and you can directly use those things for the construction. So likewise, bricklaying, uh, or maybe climbing a robot for the construction of tall structures, variable exoskeletons, like that you can use for construction industries. Service industries, yes, paper boat on the day 2, Dr. Oval sir talked about for the service industries to professionals, for giving the information, also talking to customer and resolving their queries. Like that, you are going to have the applications, banking, shopping malls, family entertainment. Like that, you can have these service robots. Defense application, majority of these you will be finding in exoskeletons, enhancing the power of that particular thing. Passive military exoskeletons, scavenging exoskeletons, stationary military exoskeletons, likewise, or surveillance applications of these particular mobile robots. You can use it for getting the informations. Field robots also getting the information from the fields, the soil, agriculture. Likewise, you are going to have uh, monitoring the carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide from the fields from longer distances. So like that, you can have adaptive field robots. Humanoid robots, yes, you will be having separate session on it. The last session on humanoid robots, which you will be learning as an application. Inspection robots we have discussed a lot, but in marine application also you are going to use this inspection for pipeline, underwater pipeline inspections, or maybe repairing of those things. You can depute robots for performing quick visual inspection of tanks, pipes, vessels, large plates and structures of the submarines. That can be done. So likewise, you are going to have multiple applications which can be done with the help of logistic applications. Yes, like AGVs, automated guided vehicles. This you can have some mounted robots over here, or these AGVs itself will work for your material transport, material handling, because you ultimately you will be handling the material from one location to another. So some devices you are mounting it to putting it on the robot, and then you can move it. Like this, you can have different applications in the fields, medical applications, cleaning applications, which we have seen, mopping, vacuuming, cleaning of the industries, wall climbing robots, boiler walk, wall cleaning, polishing, and paint removal of vessels and tanks. Like industries, you will be going to have different rework which can be carried out. So those also can be done. Robotic hull cleaning of large ships. So these cleaning applications also can be done with the help of robots. Exoskeleton, to enhance the power, you will be wearing those kind of exoskeletons, and you can have heavy work which can be done. So in military applications, to lift the higher weights of those particular guns or other systems, you will be requiring these exoskeletons to be weared, and then you will be walking through that. So with the comfort, you can take more load from different locations, different positions. Domestic application, demolishing. Yes, robots can be used for demolishing some of the existing structures, buildings, which are at the end of their life cycle, so that you can remotely do it, or you can depute the robot for performing the task like crushing, breaking, drilling, or bucket, or removing the material. So likewise, you can have these applications being done. In foreign countries, you will be finding all these service robots. In India, till we are not using all these, or people they are using, started using in this area. So in the worldwide market, approximately 15% of applications, India has now upcoming potential market for these robots. And in this suitable situation and interest, investment in the key of underlying technologies, a broad range of robotic activities can be enabled. So we have to start now in this field of robotics to try to work and try to give insights, so that industries as well as students who will be working in this area, they will be knowledgeable enough to perform this task. So I will just go through rest through slides. In robotic learning, navigation, motion control, sensing, and recognizing, these are the main robot technologies, because navigation, that movement, motions which are happening, so all that programming which will be related to decision making, obstacle avoidance, it will be related to navigation. Then motion control, moving through the desired position, sensing, different sensors, vision sensors and other sensors used, and recognizing exact inspection, that part analysis of those parts, products, that recognition is being done. So these are the challenging areas. In security application also, you can depute the robot, teleoperated remote systems, you can mobile system which can be used, uh, security guards in the needs Indian citizens which they can use. Space and underwater applications are there, different application scenarios I have listed. I will s- send it all these and give it to you. There should be this R&D focus related to whatever analytical study and simulation which is to be done. This is also required in large scale, so as to come up to that level. Underwater applications, mining, anti-marine warfare, oceanogeomet- uh, oceanography, communication navigation of network nodes, payload delivery, information operations, time critical strike, underwater welding. So likewise, you are going to have different applications. Uh, you are having separate session on nano robotics tomorrow. Medical applications we have seen, surveillance and investment, entertainment and educational robots. As a part of research, you can take upon. India's strength and future planning. Robotics relies on a variety of fundamental domains, and is this thus the large extent of science and integration. A broad spectrum of technologies has to be incorporated. All technology essentially to robotics have aspects that are almost exclusively relevant and in the context of robotics, but also in the other domain also you should use it. So batteries provide a good example of the second group of other advancements, like our robots, different types of batteries and their manufacturings, and which kind of energy source as a battery for the robotic application for the kids and for these different toys, as well as different machines, different power sources which you will be using it as a electrical power source. That also will be a large use. So I think there are many more slides. Some of the fragile grasping, how it is being done with the help of this robot end effector, different soft as well as different applications. You can do it, like soft robotics is one of the emerging area where people they are working for paper handling, or maybe some of the soft robotics for this movements you can do it, or similar kind of that of your biological solutions from the inspiration from the elephant trunk, the smart materials. Soft robotics is also getting evolved for the programming and detailing. So I think I will close here, and I will have few questions. But prior to that, again, I will go to few. Yes, what we were discussing related to soft robotics. Please have a look. The grippers yesterday you have seen the fingers. So that fingers you can have of this soft material, and accordingly you can use these soft fingers for different kinds of applications. So now this attachment you will be directly mounting on the robot system, and for special kind of applications, for specific, this is for just trial purpose which they are demonstrating it, how the fingers can be grasping that object. So gripping can be done for any irregular shapes. It need not require your specific shapes. So the fingers will come and it will grasp, adjust itself so as to hold that. And also by putting different things for smaller jobs, you just put that washer kind of thing for locking that motion. So likewise you can have these particular movements which are happening for those particular gripping ends. So likewise, these are R&Ds which are happening related to this developing newer and newer fingers like a human being, or like a soft material, soft toys which are being used, large adjustable grasper. So like this you can see, you can have long fingers of flexible material. Earlier it was complete the elastomeric material. Here you are having different structure, so that opening closing, how much you will be requiring, accordingly you can have that motion which will be getting done, and you can have the application being served. This is just a demo. You can think of that application, it can perform those kinds of applications. Yes, lifting the different products, different things. So according to your thing, requirements, though we are not directly dealing with such kind of things, but yes, in near future you can develop such kind of these robot fingers for performing tasks, to handle any kind of regular, irregular structures with different orientations. In mechanical thing, you are having limitations of that surfaces which you will be going to handle, but here any irregular shapes, but again there are limitations. You will be requiring at least two sides for holding it. So again you will be going for vacuum cups or so for creating that negative pressure and holding the jobs also. You will be coming to know other things also related to yesterday's that gripper, flexible grippers which we were having. You can see that actuation mechanisms, and whatever you have learned you can just recollect it, the hydraulics and pneumatics which is being used. This is one of the robot, and the fingers Festo made. These are the fingers, like a human is disassembling the things, putting it into another location, and robot will assemble this. So robot is picking up the steel container, putting it there, then robot is changing the fingers. You can see the operation, internal linkage mechanism, how it is actuating. You can have this replaceable finger. So initially it was 3, you can have 5, 6, also different shapes you can have that attachment, and their actuation also will be different. Again you see the square part, it is getting oriented in different way. You are holding it in horizontal plane, then you are having, and now the flexible finger, it is lifting. You see the grasping force, it is not getting released, so that much sufficient force is being exerted, and then it is being used. So and this will be the last movie which you are observing related to this AI and robotics from application aspect, future technological application, as a collaborative robot. So in the afternoon session you will be having separate session over here as a collaborative robot with the human being, how the robots are getting collaborated. These are safe robots, so you will not be having any danger, damage to the human being. Assembling of those maybe the different knobs, of different dimension, different jobs. So like that you can multiple arms. Here you are observing two arms are getting simultaneously operated and performing the task. These are of ABB robots, latest developments which are happening, and they have come up with this robot which is of collaborative nature. So I think there are many things to share and discuss. If any questions in the chat box, I will just go through it. Please share the okay attendance. Most of the people they are worried. Don't worry about those. We'll take care of all your regular attendance people who are attending. Feedback links which is getting shared, and I think session was being informative and you understood all those things. Though I have gone and summarized things, there are a lot of things which can be discussed and go into minute details, but at this level it will be overburden bombarding all those details to you.
Yes,
So at least the
sir.
awareness is getting created. So yes, madam, any
Uh, yes, sir. I have a query. There is also a movie on robots. That is Robert movie का name है. So is it possible to make a robot that can protect our nation? That is shown in the movie also. This is maybe a funny question, but it's stuck in my mind. Is it possible?
to make a robot? No, I
That's
didn't get.
shown already shown in the movie. A robot can protect the nation. That can help in Indian Army also.
Mhm. Definitely, uh, uh, there are many mechanisms, and these robots are getting developed. In one of the uh, movie that clips we are having, all that artilleries are getting handled and firing, and those things can be done. But it will be again costly affair. Development are going on in that direction related to defense robots, which can be deployed and it can be used at the border level. But yes, at this stage it will be not deputed, or we are in the surveillance mode. We are using it for remotely detecting and getting those signals to our army, because army at remote places we can depute such kind of robots, but again controlling and programming will be a difficult task. But definitely we can
Okay, sir.
develop
Thank
the
you.
robots.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. So all these links of these videos also as informative videos, I will try to put it on one separate PPT and send it, because searching separately also you can get all those things information. Nothing is now which is not going to get. So all information is available. Only we have to collect it from the specific locations, which are the places where the research is going on, and mainly you will be finding in that bio-inspired or maybe dynamic robotics, which is happening. A lot of research is going on in MIT Massachusetts Institute and that MIT Boston lab. So those sites you must visit. Majority of the books are also available from for teaching as well as for demonstration. I'm I'm just having one of the book. I will try to share it, or you can get it also. A robot builders bonanza 99 inexpensive robotic projects. So for toy robotics and students who are from school, so you can get such kind of books related to different sensors and how these are being mounted and how it is being built. So like that small programming and those informations, these are available. Wheel selection, then different transformation. So like this please try to collect the information and spare it, give it to the students as well as those who are working in the field of robotics, they can utilize these informations as a part of demonstration and learning purpose, learning applications. So I will try to give those lists of those things, and from expertise also, I will try to collect and give the details. So as much as possible, from all aspects, I will definitely help you all in giving the material, because knowledge sharing uh, is our hobby as well as our main motto. As a teacher, we must help each other in sharing the knowledge, giving the knowledge. Those who are knowing, not knowing, so they should interact and get this information known. So I think with this, we conclude this today's
Excuse me, sir.
session. Yes, madam.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good
Thank you
afternoon.
so much, sir, for this wonderful session. So I have an off-topic question that is raised by many of our students. As I'm a faculty of computer science, children want to know that whether robotics is a specialized course taken up with BTech or MTech, or is it being provided as a proper course, 4 years course?
Yes.
Like,
So
is it a specialization or like, yes?
generally, what happened, as we have seen the definitions and all, that like a mechatronics, it is again interdisciplinary.
Okay, sir.
So you must have knowledge of all these disciplines. So if we start this course at undergraduate level, some of the engineering colleges, they have started, some of the universities, they have started this as an undergraduate course. Straight away after 12th, they are giving this, but it is just beginning. But in those cases, all these subjects assimilating at one place and giving it, it will be difficult task. So at our college, we are having at MTech level. So we are giving the admissions from the DT itself and AICT approved thing, that interdisciplinary students, they are getting admitted. And when they will be getting knowledge as a group of people, sharing knowledge to each one, having expertise in their own core domain and getting added informations from allied domain, allied subjects, courses, then they will be a real implementation of this robotics thing. But yes, now some of the universities and colleges, they have started with the robotics courses at undergraduate level. But if the pillars are means initial foundation is being done at 11 12th related to this programming and electronics applications, and if person joins from mechanical background or mechanical engineering, now subjects are made in such a way that the student at any specialization, if his interest is in that area, he can directly go to that particular field of robotics.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so